Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Got you guys today. Another cool athlete transformation coming to you by Connor Wong. So before Connor joined the program, he had recently just gotten bicep surgery, and he was around kind of like the mid high 60s range, kind of like still rehabbing with PT and stuff. And I'm not gonna really speak about his whole process myself because I want you guys to hear from him. So without further ado, Connor, go ahead and introduce yourself. Kind of tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, man. My name's Connor Wong. I'm a Division II baseball player. I go to Wheeling University in Wheeling, West Virginia. And um, coming out when I met Anthony, I was fresh off of shoulder surgery. I had my sophomore year, I had torn my labrum and part of my bicep had been compromised. And so it was a really rough time for me, and I wasn't even sure that I was going to work into any type of PT here. But coming out from surgery, I was 65 to 68 when I had been used to, throwing 86 to 87. And uh, just how his program was conducted was really able to kind of excel me into where I wanted to be over time. And within, a course of 4 months, we went from 68 and now I'm sitting low eights, top in 83. Um, and much progress to keep going. And it wasn't just the velo for me, it was staying healthy was important to me. And his program did a great job of making sure I was on top of just mobility, flexibility, and strengthening it correctly, not just going in the gym and pressing iron. Uh he made sure I was on top of the core strength to the lower half strength to the shoulder flexibility, and he kind of touched all corners of the base. And not really many complaints. It's a personalized program. Um, Kept me with what I needed to do, everything from plyos to how I was throwing the ball that day, and even scripted bullpens he wrote out. So no complaints for this program for sure.
Nice, man. So, one question though, like I know you mentioned like not just going out there and pressing on iron. Is that what you said, or printing
Pressing
iron?
iron, pressing
Pressing
iron.
iron. That's a fun one. I've never heard that one before. Obviously, so like pressing iron and obviously like everything being personalized. So, can you like speak a little bit more about like kind of how we got to that point? Like before we even sent you out a program, like what were some things that we ran through just to even know what we needed to give you?
Yeah, so the first thing we actually did together was the movement preferences. And so he took me through a program of just, you know, some things that were a little weird to me that I'd never done before. But in the end it ended up being able to make the best personalized program I did. And he was able to find out, I'm weak on my left heel as opposed to my right ball on my foot or stuff like that. Which comes into account when you're on the mound, you don't think about that stuff, but whether you're taking off from the ball of your foot or your heel is very important to even where you're landing on your driveway. And I say pressing iron. My first year of college, it was important to me to get bigger because I was behind the block with some of these guys, and they're all lifting heavy. They're deadlifting, 500 pounds, bench pressing 200 plus, and that was kind of all I really focused on for my first year, and even the second year for the most part was just I got to move some weight. But really, especially as a pitcher, that's not the most important thing. It's moving your body quickly, it's moving your body correctly. It's not about being bulky. Muscle doesn't equal velocity. There's a reason that muscle man and bodybuilders don't throw 100. um, and so even that was something even coming into the program that I didn't fully understand yet. But he gave me a workout program that some parts were a little more difficult, a little bit more weight, but most of it is just making sure that I'm moving with how my body wants it to.
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, you couldn't have said that any better when just plain on lifting on weights is not gonna make athletes throw harder. I mean, otherwise we would have had a bunch of bodybuilders just walking out here throwing 1,000. But obviously that's not the case. And I know in your case specifically, mobility is very, very important, especially in the upper half, with everything that you've been going through. So very well said. One thing though that I do have a question on is I know there's a lot of different programs out there. So from like, programs that you've done in the past or that you've seen or, you've kind of like contributed in, what is one thing that makes us different from the rest of the industry?
Yeah, it's for I've worked with a few other programs, and they're, some of them are bigger, some of them are or smaller, but I mean, it's the attention to detail for me was huge. Coming off of surgery, I needed that. You know, I couldn't just get a basic program that was being handed to hundreds of other players. I needed something that was personal to me. And with your program, each exercise, I'm sure was different from what others were getting because, you know, I don't need what I don't know, Paul Skeens needs. You know, I don't we're different people. We're not the same. Um, and like I said, it's stuff from me being weak on my heels and not even being able to sit on my heels when I'm squatting, to now being able to sit perfectly and comfortable was stuff that was worked on throughout the program. And like I said, I don't think Paul Skeens probably doesn't have the same heel muscle deficiency that I have. And so being able to work into the movement preferences was really important to me. And that's something that, it's the first time I've heard about, but it worked.
Nice, man. Love that. And then if what is something that you would say to an athlete that's looking onto the fences? Maybe they've been in your shoes, just coming straight out of, bicep surgery, or just any type of surgery. They're kind of like in loss, working with PT, and PT, is just trying to get the arm healthier, but they have no idea how to convert that onto the mount. And they're just looking onto the fences as if like, oh, it's this guy, like obviously us, me, versatile athletics. Can they help us? Like, what is something that you have to say to those type of people?
Yeah. I'll touch on it again. It isn't lift big, throw hard. There's so much more to it. And coming after surgery, it's nothing more important than staying healthy first. And even from the lifts, and then you even provided me an arm care program, which was something that ended up really being important to me, my longevity and improving my stamina on the mound, because I get the right circulation and blood flow to the parts that are deficient when I'm throwing, like my decelerators. In my case, you gave me programs that specifically attack the decelerators after I'm throwing because I was putting more stress on those muscles. A lot of arm care programs that say I would have gotten somewhere else would, be the base. Everybody's doing them. So maybe I'm working on the front of my shoulder when the back of my shoulder is deficient. And, coming off a bicep surgery, like I said, it's all about staying healthy. Um, so when you get an arm care program, you get a mobility program, and you get a strength program that works, it's pretty easy to stay healthy.
100%, man. 100%. That's what it's all about. If you ain't healthy, man, you can't use your velo and you can't perform on the field. So that's definitely very, very important. And then, Connor, dude, thank you so much, man, for hopping onto this call and speaking about your journey. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people on the other side of the screen that are definitely going to get touched by your story and how you were able to do it with us. So, guys, there you guys have it. Connor Wong from throwing mid high 60s. Obviously, after surgery, we were able to get him up to low 80s, top in 83. Connor, do you have any last words for people watching?
No, man. I mean, it was a great experience, and I enjoyed it for sure. I appreciate you.
Cool, cool, cool. So there you guys have it. We don't only work on velocity. If you thought we just work on velocity, well, you have it wrong. Obviously, we have numerous athletes that come in with past injuries that need to get better, need to get healthier. We have other athletes that come in intended on pitch design, mental side of the game. We work on it all on being a full, complete pitcher. So if you guys want to do the same exact thing, go ahead and book in a call with us down in the description below. And then thank you, Connor, once more. Great guy. Excited to see the future for you, man. So I'm happy that I was able to be part of this journey for you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys on the next one.